Welcome Superman fans to your speeding bulletin for September 7th to 13, 2012. Apologies for the background noise, but this week we saw comments from Amy Adams on playing Lois Lane, an announcement on the new artistic team for Justice League, and we have an air date for the return of Young Justice Invasion. So let's get into it. Collider.com was part of a media group interview with Amy Adams at this year's Toronto International Film Festival, where she was asked about her role as Lois Lane in the upcoming Man of Steel movie. She said, "She's definitely a pistol still, and she definitely gets herself in a lot of trouble." On the red carpet for the New York premiere of The Master, Amy was also asked how she felt about the news that Superman and Wonder Woman were romantically linked in the current comic books.
Woman now in the comic.
I've heard that. I'll take her.
Yeah?
I'll take her.
My money's on you. Thank you.
I don't have any bracelets or sponsors, but...
Michael Shannon spoke with MTV News about seeing footage for Man of Steel while recently doing additional dialogue recording for the movie, and he described what he saw as mind-blowing. He also had this to say about Henry Cavill's portrayal of Superman.
I always felt like I was in a scene with Superman. I never looked at him and thought, oh, that's just somebody trying to be Superman. He felt like the real deal. So.
Shannon also told the Canadian press, "I'm sure excited for it to come out because not only will it be a blockbuster, but I think it's going to be a really great movie." In an unconfirmed rumour, someone who claims to have been in attendance at a Warner Brothers Consumer Products trade show held this week has passed on descriptions of artwork concepts for Man of Steel that were reportedly displayed. No pictures as yet, but visit the site if you're interested in reading the rumoured descriptions. In TV news, Superboy TV star John Haynes Newton joined us as our special guest for this week's Radio KAL Live broadcast. If you missed it, you can listen back to what took place at supermanhomepage.com/live. We don't have an episode description yet, but I can tell Young Justice fans that the next new episode is titled Satisfaction, and it will air on Cartoon Network on September 29th at 10:30 AM. In comic book news, Newsarama.com spoke with writer Scott Lobdell to find out what we can expect from his Hell on Earth saga and from his run on the Superman comic book as a whole. He said, "So far each issue is bursting at the seams and I couldn't be happier." For fans of Lois Lane, he also added via Twitter, "I can assure you Lois is going to be heavily involved in Clark's life. Hold on to your hats." Superboy writer Tom DeFalco told comicbookresources.com that he and his fellow writers have big plans for the Superman family of comic book titles. He said, "We have constructed a basic scenario which will play out over the next couple of months. In Superboy Zero, we introduced a number of things that preceded Superboy's origin." Jeff Johns confirmed this week that Jim Lee will indeed step down as artist on the Justice League comic book, with Ivan Rice and Joe Prado set to take over from issue number 15, which will hit stores in late December. There was just the one comic book for us to review this week, and that was Action Comics number 0, which was reviewed by Michael Bailey, who gave it a 4 out of 5, saying the main story in this Zero issue was rather good. Superman comics available this week from September 12th include Amy Comic Girls number 1, digital comic, has been available since September 10th. Superboy number 0. Some fans might like Team 7 number 0, which is available in a variant cover. And Smallville Season 11 Chapter 16 digital comic is available September 14th.
This week back in 1993, Lois and Clark made its debut on ABC TV in the USA. To celebrate this anniversary, we've highlighted a number of Lois and Clark items available in our online store, like the complete 4 seasons on DVD for only $144.99, or grab a Dean Cain 8x10 photo for only $6.99. These and other great Lois and Clark products are available from your one-stop Superman shop, the Superman Homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop.
The book titled Superman is an Arab is now available in stores. It's not actually about Superman as such, with the subtitle of the book stating, "On God, Marriage, Macho Men and Other Disastrous Inventions." But I reviewed it nonetheless. It's not a book I'd recommend to Superman fans, but if you're interested in the subject matter, you'll find Superman is an Arab both interesting as well as challenging. That's all the news there was for the week September 7th to September 13th. Again, apologies for the background noise. I'm Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott! welcome to another edition of Great Scott. Don't I look brooding and cool and like edgy? You know, like an Earth 1 version of Scotty V or something. I know that's what they're going for these days, you know, dark and looking down at the floor and walking around like you're miserable and you wear a hoodie. You're awesome. Anyway, this week saw the premiere of the DC Comics special on Robot Chicken, and it reminded me of something that I actually wanted to discuss a while back that I kind of forgot about. The Max Landis Death of Superman little mockery short film type of thing. What I thought was really cool about it was that it had all these kind of well-known people in it. You know, Mandy Moore and you know, that Hobbit guy, and they were clearly showing their geekness and their love of comic books. And I think the same kind of thing happens on Robot Chicken. They parody popular culture. They parody geeky stuff, Star Wars, superheroes. And I think when people do that, it's clearly an indication that they love the genre, and sometimes even the very character that they seem to be making fun of. What I find very interesting is that with Robot Chicken, it's kind of just a goof, and it's silly, and it's cheap, and it's, you know, the kid from Austin Powers kind of making a goofy thing with little dolls. So I think nobody really takes it seriously or cares that much about what they do on there. They laugh at it, and they move on. But with the Max Landis thing, it seemed like there was a huge outrage and an outcry from fans about how it was disrespectful and about how terrible it was. And I can understand feeling like your favorite character's under attack, you know, in terms of Superman being killed and coming back. And that's what the whole documentary, you know, mockery is about. You know, it's this guy kind of sitting there making fun of the whole story arc, and I actually found it pretty funny. There were a few things that annoyed me. In it, they make it out to the whole how cool Batman thing is again. The guy says something like, "I just feel like if this was Batman, he would have figured out in 5 minutes a way to defeat Doomsday without anybody dying and without throwing a punch." And here we have Superman, Earth's greatest hero, just throwing down and deciding he needs to fight and destroy buildings and everything. And clearly in the story, every other hero was taken out and there was no other option. But I thought the jokes were funny. I thought the way they kind of made fun of it was funny. I think that if you're that popular and you're that impactful that you can have people talking about your storyline 20 years after the fact, that you can have people talking about making movies about your storyline. I think that means that you've accomplished something, and clearly we saw by the media frenzy that, look at me, I'm over here, that occupied the whole story arc of Death of Superman, that it really was something different. You know, we've had lately Death of Captain America, Death of the Human Torch, there's been Death of Flash in the past, Death of Hal Jordan. They kill heroes almost all the time, and yet in this Max Landis documentary, they kind of make a big deal about how it destroyed death in comics because now everybody knows everybody can come back. But they always came back. Anytime a hero typically dies in the comics, you know that if he was popular in any way, if he was useful for a story at any time in the future, that they were going to bring him back. It's a little like a soap opera that way. But I actually kind of thought the Max Landis thing was funny, and speaking of Robot Chicken, I thought that was very funny as well. They, of course, take a lot of jabs at Aquaman, and I guess there isn't as much a fervent fan base for Aquaman as there is with Superman, but you don't really hear a lot of people running around saying, but Aquaman's really cool, they shouldn't make fun of him. And maybe it's because people don't think Aquaman is cool, or I like Aquaman. I think he's always been kind of underrated and made fun of because he does a lot more than talk to fish, but they poke fun at it, and I don't even think that the creators necessarily believe all the things that they say about Aquaman. They're just doing it for fun, just like the Max Landis thing. And I think that there might be some annoyance there or some ire there in some situations, or they may even think some of the things are stupid, but I think that in general they're fans, and I think that their passion for being fans kind of shows that they put that much time into it. In the Max Landis thing, they had a lot of facts wrong and stuff, but I don't think that they were all that interested in getting all the facts right. I think they were just making a joke and trying to make people, I don't know, laugh, I suppose, just like with what Robot Chicken does. But I guess that's all for now. Remember, everybody, thanks for watching, and if you happen to be the one going up against Darkseid, you're probably just a guy in a catsuit.